Hi YouTube, this is Bill with Bug Out Bungalows. This is a travel trailer I remodeled, and I thought some of you might be interested in it. It's a 1974, if I remember right, a Holiday Rambler. It was in very good shape, the outside at least when I bought it, and I tore this up dragging it out from my cabin out in the desert near Lovelock. But other than that, the body was in really good shape. Believe it or not, I picked it up for 500 bucks up in Nevada and had to jump through a few hoops on the paperwork, which wasn't that big a deal and I kind of expected. So that's outside of it. You can see I put a pellet stove in there, and I'm going to show you my solar panels. So I put approximately 500 watts of solar panels on top of this. So, and I've found over the few different systems I've done that 500 watts will get you going pretty good and run a refrigerator pretty much, and start the generator occasionally. So here's the inside. So there's my pellet stove. It works good. I'm also into music, and I have a music channel I'm working on. Put laminate flooring in. Took out the propane refrigerator, and there's an Energy Star, and I like it because with the solar, well, I'm not running on solar right now, I'm on shore power they call it, but I can run this off the solar. And I just didn't like running out of propane with the propane fridges. They work good, but the technology now I think is a small inverter and some solar panels. So as far as the remodel, let's see, I gutted this thing, obviously. It was hideously looking from 70s, and okay, take the children out of the room. I'm going to show you what I deal with. This 70s decor, it's hideous. This place was dark. It had big cabinets in it, and typical 70s type styling. I mean, I had to cover these just to be able to use it. And the reason I keep this couch and don't replace it, it'd be better off with a futon maybe, is it fits in here good, and I can open it up and it will still clear this pellet stove, whereas a futon wouldn't. So I keep this only because it fits in here perfect. It's in good shape, it folds out, but it's truly hideous as far as the color. Anyway, let's finish the tour. See, I replaced all the plumbing fixtures. That was a big deal. That was one of the major things I did. These are all new plumbing fixtures. I modified this cabinetry. Took out, it had a fiberglass paneled type door, and the curtain's much better. So I put some LED lighting in. Replaced these bulbs with LEDs. I'll fix that later. This is an aftermarket LED, you might want to see. This is just off the shelf from Home Depot, and I had to drill some holes in it. This is a 110 light, but it's pretty inexpensive and it's low profile. I had a problem with that, and I'm pretty tall, so that was hanging down too low. This is a off the shelf door from Home Depot, so I had to cut it down quite a bit. Have a water filter. So here's my bedroom, pretty simple. Give you a show around. Storage is always a problem. I found this worked really good. It's just an off-the-shelf from Home Depot type rack, but it works better for me than dressers and whatnot. See, this is usually here. I was cooking something, of course. Smoke alarm went off. I have carbon monoxide. That's very important. I highly recommend those. More laminate flooring. Here I used adhesive vinyl tiles, which I didn't really care for. I should have gone linoleum, but I didn't want to tear the whole thing up at the time. They're holding in there, but it's not my first choice. So let me show you my solar setup, or control setup. So let's see. That was the original meter. I left it hooked up, but I don't do much with it. This came with the charge controller, and it monitors the batteries and whatnot. This is the transformer that came with it. I think it's about 30 amps. Kind of small, but it works, and I just left that in. Here's the charge controller. It's a Renogy brand, and if I remember right, that's American made, and I can recommend them. I've used a few of their products. So being American made, I can't help but recommend them. And let's see, we have an inverter down here, and so I have it hooked up. So right now I'm on shore power, but this extension cord wires in and goes over to a dedicated outlet. Well, it's behind here. I'll take right there to run the pellet stove if the power goes out. So I think that's pretty much a grand tour. I tore all the cabinets out. This ended up being kind of a yellow color where I wanted more beige, but I'm not the painter type. The cabinets are hideous. I didn't care for them, but I lived with them, and what made them bearable is I replaced all the hardware. It was really ornate, Baroque type hardware, and I replaced it with something a little better looking. So anyway, I wasn't trying to make a silk purse out of this trailer. I just wanted something cost effective, and it's 24 footer, and I found that's a good size. I can move around with half ton. I wouldn't want to drag it around all over the place. Now the pellet stove just came on. Anyway, that's a tour of my 74 Holiday Rambler, and I hope it inspires you, and that's it. Have a good day.